Alright, so I had, no luck with finding something that I wanted to review recently, and so I thought, hey, I have Scourge. I've had him for a little bit, and he is the main villain of the upcoming movie, so hey, might as well ride the hype train a little bit more. So, let's review this really good figure that has some really big flaws. So, first of all, he can't stand. Let me get his arm out of the way. If you move his legs, if you can see that, his legs, first of all, they look a little weird because of how the legs look, or the wheels make them look. It looks like you have to bend them a little bit to make it look straight. And then, oh look, the feet are tilted. That's because in order to actually make him stand straight, you have to bend his feet forward a little bit, and then he stands. Luckily, his feet are tight, and if you listen, sounds better on this one, but his knees are soft ratchets, so his legs aren't really going anywhere. Now, the other thing you might notice, his head, not his head, his neck looks kind of ugly. Now, this is what I always notice. Compared to how the movie looks, his neck looks ugly. This is kind of just how they made him. You can, give him a hunched position. Well, give his neck a hunched position to make it look better, but I mean, look at that posture. Again, if my lighting was good, I really need to get better lights. Speaking of a movie, can they stop making, TV spots? I swear, I'm trying not to watch any footage before the movie comes out, and at this rate, it's, impossible. Now, for accessories and gimmicks, he has the big-ass sword that blends in with his fucking body. There it is. It folds here for the transformation, so I guess if you want to make it look smaller, you got that. But you can also it also extends for the transformation, but you don't need that for this, where you can open his fingers, finger posability, and you can this is what I get for not standing in my usual position. You can boom, pop it into his hand and close it, and ta-da, he has a sword. You're going to see the lights come off today a lot, folks, because this man's dark. I'm standing in the way of the light, but if I don't stand in the way of the light, it's going to turn off a lot. Yep, this one's going to be painful, folks, but I don't edit these. I'm going to get this out of his hand for a second. And let's go to his other hand, which is a creepy fucking claw, which he apparently shoots energy from because he fucks up Bumblebee in the trailer. He could fuck him up more in the TV spots. Like I said, I don't watch them. If you tell me in the comments, I will eviscerate you. And also, you can rip it off. Let me bring in the other accessory before I mention it. It's just a peg. It's not a 5mm port, so you can't put anything on here that you want. That's right, he's not fossilizer compatible. Cope. But you can bring in his blaster arm. And if I can get it right. Come on, go all the way. There we go. You get this blaster that looked kind of bland. And when I first saw it in the promotional art, or I guess leaks, because that's when you first see everything, I somehow thought it was just this hand without the claw. I thought you're just gonna, take the claw off and it was gonna be that, despite the fact that they're in no means the same thickness. Also, you can give them Alright, I hope I don't, completely drop my fucking phone doing this. Okay, I literally can't. You can give the claw, a tripod mode. I hope you can see this, because everything around me is, black, gray, and, blue, but everything around here is dark, so I wouldn't be surprised if you can't see anything. Now, like I said, like 4 times already, he doesn't match the movie model that well from what we've seen so far. He's definitely on the skinnier side, but he can move. He can strike a pose. He's got a lot of joints. He's got some pretty damn good feet. He can also pull a fucking of that. Call that broken action. He can. He's got a normal shoulder and the hot rod shoulders. If you don't know, just grab a hot rod. The only one I have is the core class figure, and that's not really the best example. But just most hot rods, because of how they're designed, have this. I have a shoulder that only does that. So if you ever hear someone say hot rod shoulder, they mean that. I don't know. Go to TF Wiki. I'm sure they have something about that. And also, this ball joint. Give me a second. Okay, I was gonna say the ball joint that connects his neck to his body feels like very loose and that it could break. So I had to check to see if I had like the worst comedic timing of all time, but no, it just popped off. Thankfully. His head itself, like not his neck, is actually really good. If you can see, it is the Terracon symbol. Yeah, Terracon. He has the smokestacks behind him. He has the. We'll get to that. And his chest, which you can't see the best. If I can fucking get the lighting to work. Well, even if I could get the lighting to work, I can't see it the best. One section of the lore, I'm guessing they're gonna expand upon this in the story, is that he collects the faction badges of the people he kills, and he presumably does that to Bumblebee, despite the fact that he doesn't kill him because of hints in the trailers. I don't know, I'm too into this. But because of how he transforms, you can see some of them on the shoulder. Well, you could see some of them if my lighting wasn't ass. But that's really all I have to say about the robot mode. He is good despite his flaws. Like, okay, for a mainline version, he's a good representation. I am so excited to see like third party takes on these new movie designs, because third party movie figures are usually some of the best third party figures because they kind of have to be. So I'm really excited to see what third party companies do with especially Scourge, because he looks so cool, and his alt mode is also really cool. So I'm just gonna get to that. I'll try my best to do it like step by step, but I'm probably gonna block the lighting and or knock over the camera. I'm gonna kind of straighten out his legs, swivel the thighs around because there are tabs on his crotch and you can't see them, but there's holes in his thighs. You have to pull out on some on his wheels, but they don't really. It doesn't really matter. All right, now here's the cool part. You have to bring this out and then tab it in, and on this one you have to pull out a tab, which is something you don't really see that often. And then do the same on this side, and then don't tab them in yet. Here's where we get into some shit. So the backpack, you want to untab this, flip this section out, this section out. This small section's made out of clear plastic, and there's already a bunch of stress marks on it. Light, this is like the one time I need. You know what? Can I just? I want to like strap this to my head. You know what? Let me. Hopefully this does. Okay, so then you flip this out, and there we go. This joint is the problem. I had to Oh, it does not feel good. You can kind of see I had to sand down part of it because it started to crack. The joint was so tight. So it's like, it was not a nice feeling. So it's like, this transformation is fun. It's a really fun one, but this one step stresses it so much to the point where it does not feel good. But sanding it down did seem to help, so that should be the right move. Alright, so it turns out I'm an idiot. My phone had a flashlight. Well, camera. You know, by now you should realize I'm an idiot. So you fold his blade in on itself, and then you extend it. You want to keep the fingers out. And then you kind of like bring the shoulders up and then back down with the shoulder pads out. Like, not like that, but down. I probably should. So up, down. Okay, let me make sure I remember this. Yep, okay. So get the blade arm first and untab it and bring it up. So then you bring it down and this tab will go into this slot if you can see it. And once you get that, you can tab in the legs. Make sure the crab arm is collapsed. And then bring up the other arm if it wants to go all the way. Come on. Ooh, that does not feel good. Hold on. All right, got it. So once you have that down, you want to bring this up, bring this and tab it back in. So once you have it like that, and then that, and oh, that does not feel good, but fold it down until it's in that configuration. And then smush this in between and tab the shoulder pads in. I really like how the shoulder pads become part of the truck. Make sure the arm's flush. And now this part also doesn't feel the best. Like, there's stress marks on the hinges because they're too tight, but it doesn't feel nearly as bad as the clear plastic part. Alright, so yeah, you fold this piece out, bring that up, and then you untab this and bring it to the side, which isn't that expected. Bring the wheels out, and you can kind of see where the stress marks are. Tab them in. And try not to mess everything up. This part can get a little fiddly. So you gotta bring this out and like collapse that like that. So you can then tab it in and then put the grill up. And then bring up the smokestacks. Woo. Bring this section down. Everything's feeling way more forceful today. All right, this will slot into the thigh, and this will tab in there. And do the same on the other side. Whoop. All right, and then for the final, I get it's not really a step; it's more weapon storage. But you take the cannon, untab it, tab it there. Well, use the ball joints, swivel it around, swivel it there, and then kind of swivel it there. So then you can tab it there and there. And this is a really cool truck mode. All the clear plastic was used to a pretty good extent. I don't get why this section had to be used. And you can see better the all the badges. One, because they're not all hidden behind this, and two, because I'm not an idiot, as much of an idiot, and I can actually figure out lights now. Oh, you can't see it because it's blocked, but the light going through this is casting like orange behind here. It's like light piping. Yeah, it's a really good figure. There's not much more to say about the truck mode. I really like the dual smokestacks. That's really the rest I can say. Yeah, I'd say if you find them, definitely get them, and I'd like another take on them. I can't believe I only just figured out this light thing. Jesus Christ.